Certainly. I know you're wondering whether this climactic action in Bitcoin has already come to an end, or if it's just the beginning of a significant bull run. In this analysis, I'll share what we think might happen in the short-term crypto scenario for Bitcoin. Currently, we're observing how, at this very moment, the price of Bitcoin is interacting with a highly reactive level. As you already know, we've been discussing this bullish climactic action for weeks. We've seen a strong bullish impulse followed by a channel that was concluding its range phase to prepare for a robust climactic bullish action. This climactic action, as I mentioned a moment ago, we've been talking about for weeks now, even months. To provide more specificity, in the last video we published this past Friday, we analyzed Bitcoin's volume profile. We understood that the price had successfully exited the value area of the volume profile. We then analyzed with order flow how the price, in its attempt to reclaim the value area, was entirely unsuccessful. In Friday's video, we were conveying that, while we had been expecting this climactic bullish action, we didn't know exactly when it would occur. However, in Friday's video, we were warning that there was a very high probability that this climactic bullish action was about to happen. What we can expect with Bitcoin now is that, of course, this correction might come to establish the structure, create a small trap, seek liquidity, confirm, but we are already thinking about this climactic bullish action that we've been discussing for many weeks. As you can see, it's been quite a ride in the crypto market. To give you an idea, zooming in on an hourly chart, what we were specifically looking for was to see how the price would validate this structure, this point. Was it the ideal level to initiate this climactic bullish action? Now, I know you're wondering whether this climactic action in Bitcoin has come to an end, or is just the beginning of a significant bull run. In this analysis, I'll share what we think might happen in the short-term crypto scenario for Bitcoin. So, what we've just sought right now is the institutional target for this entire reaccumulation process. As I showed you in previous videos, we were observing how there was a desperate attempt to sell, but as we saw in the recent past, the same happened in this entire area, trying to sell, but then we could see how even a minimal purchase could wipe out all these sellers. This is when we assessed that we were currently experiencing the same scenario. However, this time, it's to experience the climactic action. Therefore, despite seeing selling intentions with order flow, the interpretation was that these sellers would be frustrated and their stop-loss orders would provide us with the anticipated climactic bullish action. Certainly, considering that this entire range has been used by smart money with a single intention to profit from their investment, and knowing that smart money operates with its own institutional targets, we are currently witnessing how, at this precise moment, the price of Bitcoin is interacting with a highly reactive level. To better understand what's happening in the crypto space, let's also assess the Ethereum chart. As you may recall, we had set a very relevant level, specifically at the price level of $2,140, which had been recently confirmed. However, by betting that we would end up seeing this climactic action in the Bitcoin system, it wouldn't be different for Ethereum or any other cryptocurrency. That's why we were already betting on the breakout of this macro creek at this significant level. It was at this moment that we were also assessing the alpha angle of this channel's work, which we had been speculating on since previous videos, and now it's taking us to a potential extreme in the market. Considering that Bitcoin is also at a relevant level, given that we are facing an institutional target, this has caught our attention. But how do we orchestrate this prioritized search for longs with Ethereum? Well, here we had clearly identified a gap. What it was telling us is that at these price levels, there was already buying weakness. That's why the breakout of this creek was relevant. And you see, just as Bitcoin confirmed a relevant level where we were looking for this long idea, Ethereum did exactly the same within its structure to initiate the long-awaited climactic bullish action. Trading is sometimes even poetic. So, with Ethereum, why not? Expect some correction, they might do it, they might not, but the real goal will be to want to look up and seek a climactic bullish action. We'll see if they want to offer it, but the idea is quite strong. As you've seen, we are now at this very relevant level, not only in Ethereum, but also in Bitcoin, and now, if you look at Cardano, we're in a very similar situation. Remember that the price level of $0.4169, this horizontal line, we consider of great relevance, as we defined here that we are facing a gap, a buying weakness. And indeed, it was buying weakness. So, seeing this compression and that the price was already starting to rise, the bet was to go for the breakout of its creek to then seek that bullish move. After this compression, let's see how this unfolds, but perhaps not much is missing. To break this creek, it will tie it and offer us an expansive and strong move, at least against its macro trend. And now, pay attention to the following. If we go to a daily chart, you will realize that we're at that critical point. Remember, for Cardano, piercing the level of $0.4165 will be crucial for smart money to eventually seek the reward for all this patient buying. But, as mentioned, until we see this level pierced, we have nothing here. Rather, what we are seeing in the entire crypto ecosystem is a bullish impulse, followed by a channel that is compressing against relevant levels. So be wary of the potential FOMO that they may try to inject, as the beautiful move was waiting for that climactic bullish crypto action that we had been predicting weeks ago. But once we've had that climactic bullish action, perhaps the story for some may not be as exciting as they would like. And now I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen in the entire crypto ecosystem next. But first, don't forget to leave us your comment with your opinion in the YouTube comments. You can also support the channel and its growth by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and clicking the bell icon so that YouTube notifies you of future posts. It's crucial to be analyzing what's happening in the crypto ecosystem globally. See what we're seeing in Polkadot. On the one hand, a fundamental defense zone that was worked with a trap, an event that gives us wings to eventually look for those longs. And in that search for climactic bullish crypto action led by Bitcoin, they were then showing us that important breakout as the level was being respected. Here we have a micro creek, and there we could look for that movement. But one thing is clear, in Polkadot, the movement has not been as fierce as we have seen in other types of assets. And one of the reasons is that Polkadot, the cryptocurrency, or one of them, was ahead of the bullish crypto party. So, if we zoom out a bit, what do we have here? Well, at the price level of $5.78, we have a macro creek, just like with Cardano, an indispensable level that we hope will be broken at some point, and when this happens, we will indeed see movements similar to what we have already seen here in Polkadot, but reflected, obviously, in the entire crypto ecosystem. But beware, we are really at that moment when we can expect a bull run for the crypto market. Now, I'll share what I think. And now, notice how the BNB chart catches our attention. Well, remember the fateful event in which Chezi leaves the Binance company? We all know why. In fact, we made a documentary covering this entire event. A documentary. If you haven't seen it yet, I invite you to watch it, and I'll leave it up to the right in the YouTube cards. Well, that bearish impulse, what we were waiting for was to see some kind of correction in it before seeking that replication. There is so much selling pressure that the price has not been able to correct decently. They have pressed the sales so much that they have already broken a very, very relevant trend line. And in the case of BNB, it doesn't seem to be so friendly with wanting to pay all this range to the upside in a too immediate future. In fact, we could be close, it seems, that if the BNB price level of $236.06 is not pierced, it could be a defense zone that will seek to replicate the bearish impulse we have just experienced. We have just experienced an event that would also explain why the entire crypto market is now in very important extremes where perhaps we are not ready to cross the pond. This would imply, for example, in the case of BNB, that at most we can expect perhaps some trap. But honestly, it seems that we are already experiencing the flat pattern, and that it will lead us to attempt a bearish replication. Obviously, this scenario will depend exclusively on whether this defense zone plays its role. Since, if after having that bearish impulse, the only consequence we have is that they put the price to sleep and are able to pierce that creek, and we see all this as a macro trap, the medium term, I would even dare to say crypto discourse, would change a lot. But until this happens, let's not even consider that scenario. Let the market speak, since the goal of this video is to convey a fairly clear message. The message is to say that we are now in a bullish climactic action that we sincerely do not know the duration of. What does that mean? We do not know if we are now at the limit before seeking that correction, or, on the contrary, that climactic action may be halfway and will continue to rise. Predicting where such an eagerly awaited climactic action like this will turn around is frankly a very complicated task. But how can we translate this into our analysis or trading? That's what you're wondering? Well, look, very simple. What we should do or prioritize here is to understand when is a good time to enter the market. When is a good time to go short, or when is a good time not to enter? later. Right now, one thing is quite clear, and that is under no circumstances now would it be a good idea to look for a long, as the movement, as I showed you earlier, should have been sought down here as we were looking. If you've already seen the whole movement, don't be greedy and try to enter up here, an interesting area where large institutions are collecting partials. So let's see if Bitcoin decides to react to that level. At most, it traps it, but let's see if they start creating some kind of structure here that we can work with. What we are waiting for or looking for then is a moment of pause, a moment of rest. And in Ethereum, this would be understood as we have gone to look for that speculated ceiling projection, and on it, Ethereum could also do its thing. And let's see if they decide to compress the price on that level. But if you notice, what we are waiting for is a moment of pause. As in these types of pauses, very good day trading and scalping opportunities are presented to us. Well, look at what Cardano tells us, that here we have a strong boundary, a very strong wall. Therefore, buying here is out of the question. In the particular case of Cardano, let's see if they give us that pause below the structure and allow us to look for a creek or a trend line on which we, in the very near future, can work. As they say, this afternoon and tomorrow, the same with DOT. Look how close, very, very close. I would honestly be particularly calm with DOT, since the recent range of movement is very brief. I don't know if it's already making me think that we can even start working with a trend line like this as a compression start, which continues with the pause. I hope I'm making myself clear. Well, I hope you found this advanced technical analysis we do at Crypto Insight interesting. If that's the case, don't forget to leave us your comment with your opinion in the YouTube comments. You can also support the channel and its growth by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and clicking on the bell so that YouTube notifies you of future publications. And of course, I invite you to share this video and our content with other crypto communities and also with other technical analysis and trading communities in general. I hope you have very successful trades, and until next time,